Good morning. This is very unexpected. It's a surprise. I had ordered it a little while ago, and since then we've just had the builders come to fix our roof, and so our garden is full of scaffolding, and I didn't really, have time for gardening, but I have so looked forward to getting these beauties for such a long time. I had to look for them quite a bit. They're some of my favorite plants. Well, they're in the same family as my very favorite plants. So without further ado, let's open up this beautiful box. Here's how it looks. It looks really well wrapped. I always think it's a great sign of a great nursery when they really wrap their plants well. Look here. They're supposed to be little ones. Oh, look at this. Look how nicely wrapped they are. So snug. Take the middle guy out. And let's have a look. It's such a clever way of wrapping. I've never seen anyone do it, but it's actually that's a great idea for if I ever have to send some plants to anyone. Look at this, how well it worked. Oh my goodness. I'll show you the tags so you can see what they are, because I am super, super excited. How big are they? It's supposed to be quite small. I better carefully unwrap them because I can see, look, it's caught up in that too up there. Let me just have a look. So look at this little guy here. I wonder if he's grown from a cutting or a seedling, because I know that the ones that I have which are related to him grow super well from both, really, because I do cuttings of his relatives, his cousin, I suppose, but I haven't grown any from seed, but I know they do grow from seed because I have some seed grown ones I have bought. So what this guy here is, he is in the myrtle family, Myrteola Nummularia. And yes, as it says, he's a shade-loving plant, which is useful because I have so much shade in my garden. Oh my goodness, I just saw a flower bud. Look here. Flower buds. There's one right there. Ooh. Now I can't focus. Come on, focus. Okay, there's flower buds right there. You see those two little guys there? And one up there too. So, ooh, there's loads of flower buds. Okay, yeah, so he's a shade-loving plant with prostrate tangled mats of red stems and small leathery leaves, small white flowers. But of course, the real reason I bought him is for the berries that the flowers become. Because I follow this guy, he's called Weird Explorer. He does these amazing tastings of all kinds of really interesting, often very rare fruits and berries and things. And every time I want to get a new berry, if I thought of seeing a berry or heard of a berry or fruit or anything, I do look him up and see his reviews because he does them so well. I find it really difficult to describe flavors and things, but he does it so clearly and so well. And this is one of the ones he tasted, the Myrteola Nummularia, and he says that he thinks it tastes really similar to the Chilean Guava, which is the Ugni Moline that this guy is related to, that I'm a huge fan of, and I have lots growing in my garden. I have several different varieties and cultivars, and they're all so delicious. They're all slightly different, but so good. And yeah, so he tasted this one and said that it tastes a lot like the Chilean Guava, and just like with the Chilean Guava, he thinks this one is one that could easily be sold commercially alongside things like blueberries. You know, it would fit right in on that aisle in the supermarket because they're so tasty. And these ones are going to be a bit smaller than my Chilean Guavas because they haven't been sort of cultivated to be really large like some of my cultivars I have. They're more like a sort of natural Chilean Guava. The small ones I have grown from seed. The seed-grown Chilean Guavas I have are probably the same size as these little berries will be. But we'll have a chance to see for ourselves this year. So let's just unpack the other two. So I did buy 3 because I wanted to have as many as possible, really. So let's just go for it. And they're a really good price too. Look at that. For really unusual plants. £4 for a really lovely flowering plant, like a small plant, starter plant. Second one, it's almost cuter than the first one, and it's got a nice little bunch of flowers right there that are really clear. And more over here. Wow, just like lots of them, huh? Okay, and for the last one, they saved the best for last. Look at this guy. He is a whopper. I think he's been cut back a bit. He's really big. He's looking a little bit dry. I mean, this is the kind of year where my Chilean guavas outside are looking quite dry. So I think I'm going to put them out into the greenhouse, the unheated greenhouse, in a shady spot in there, because I have some areas that are more shady than others, and just keep them going for a bit. I don't see any roots coming through the bottom, which would indicate that they need a repot. I think they're actually going to be fine in these little, I mean, they're small starter pots, but they should be okay for the time being. And then I'm going to get them into some other areas, but the greenhouse is really safe and secure for the time being, because with all the building works going on, don't really want them out and about everywhere else. I forgot, this last guy has a few flower buds too. Oh, I'm so impressed by these flowers, by these plants. It does look a bit more dry. I hope he's going to be okay, but he's got new growth coming here, you see? So I think if I give him a little spritz with some rainwater, that would do him good. And then put them into the greenhouse and keep them from getting too cold, because they've got nice tender growth on them, which can always be a bit damaged. But this is super exciting. So a bit about these little plants. I mean, I've really been trying to get them for a long time, as I said, because they're so interesting and beautiful. They actually would make an amazing ground cover, another edible ground cover, because they're very prostrate. You can see they just like want to be on the ground, and they also are quite slow growing, which in that instance actually makes them less of a good ground cover. I like ground cover that really spreads. But if you have like a small space, like an alpine garden, which is also why this nursery, Potterson's nursery, obviously provide them or stock them, it's because they grow lots of alpines, then this would be perfect for them, and you get the added bonus of beautiful little berries. Now they are really easy with soil as well. They just grow in most soil types, which is really useful. I always like plants that aren't too fussy about that sort of thing. And they also come from Chile, that sort of area. I think they also grow in the Falklands. It's just sort of a kind of wet climate that they like, which is perfect for England. Hurrah! So I am going to, I think, keep them in a pot for a while. As I said, I'll keep them in these grow pots here just to get them a bit bigger. And what I like to do is I like to change their habits slightly, which works with the Chilean guavas, their cousins. So I'm just going to put some sticks in here, into this pot here. This is the one that's biggest. And then actually bring them up and tie them up. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So I made like a little teepee for it here. A little frame for it to sort of be supported on, a support frame. And it does seem to work with the other Chilean guavas I have, so hopefully work for this little guy too. But I am super excited to have them, and it'll be lots of fun to do lots of tastings with all the different little myrtles I have, edible myrtles in the garden growing. And it's nice these ones are already flowering, but it really does indicate that they have been grown in a greenhouse. So I'll keep them in my unheated greenhouse, just to make sure they don't get a shock all of a sudden. It's so cold, so blustery, so windy and stormy outside that I don't think they would appreciate being chucked out into the cold. But I'll find a nice sort of more shaded spot for them in the unheated greenhouse and keep them out there for a month maybe. We'll just see how the weather goes. And when the weather sort of warms up a bit, I'll see how big they are and how strong they look, and whether or not I can put them into other pots and move them on and upwards, onwards and upwards. But this is going to be so exciting. It's one of the ones that I've looked out for quite a lot, but never been able to find until now. So I'm really happy that they were available in Potterson's nursery. So I put them here in a little protected spot in the unheated greenhouse alongside a few other cuttings. I've got another Chilean guava here who's a year old, and he's got some nice new growth on him. We've got some Himalayan mulberries there. They've got some buds starting to break bud there. And we also have some interesting blueberry cuttings. They've been here for quite a while. They're well over a year old now. And there's even some flower buds on one of the cuttings. So I think it's time for it to go into its own pot. So this is some flower buds in this one over here. So yeah, they're doing really well, these cuttings. But hopefully this is a nice protected spot and not too hot, not too bright, boiling sun. So we'll see how they do. But very, very fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.